Hello, YouTube. I know I look a little tired. I am kind of tired, but it is GZTV. We're still going to give you guys a video today. We are here with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 1974 American horror film, produced and directed by Tobe Hooper. So yeah, I don't really have much to say. Critical reception, kind of my review. The plot, of course, this is a spoiler warning. I literally talk about the entire movie pretty much in depth, so yeah, this is a simple movie. I'm not sure how long the video will be, but yeah. So, in the early hours of August 18th, 1973, a grave robber steals several remains from a cemetery near Newt, Muerto County, Texas. So if I'm a little mumbo jumbo, it's because I literally just woke up like 20 minutes ago. So yeah, I had to get up, grind, get this video out before class. The robber ties a rotting corpse and other body parts onto a monument, creating a grisly display which is discovered by a local resident as the sun rises. This movie has an interesting starting story. I mean, they discover these weird ass corpses being mutilated and put together in different fashions. Kind of has that Edward Gein, and that's something that you can appreciate about this movie compared to the other ones, is that actually it's kind of based on something in real life, Edward Gein. So yeah. Driving in a van, 5 young people take a road trip through the area. Sally Hardesty, Jerry, Pam, Kirk, and Sally's handicapped brother, Franklin. They stop at the cemetery to check on the grave of Sally and Franklin's grandfather, which appears undisturbed, which is surprising because obviously this guy's been going around tampering with graves. It's been all over like the radio. You hear it in the background as they're driving through. So as the group drive past a slaughterhouse, Franklin recounts the Hardesty family's history with animal slaughter. And at first I didn't know that he was Sally's brother, because I don't know if they really, they probably said that, but I might have missed it, but yeah. They pick up a hitchhiker who says that his own family also has experience with animal slaughter, and we're going to find out later in the movie that it's not really a positive one. Well, keep that character in mind as we go through, because, man, that is a fucking weird human being, I tell you. When the group refuses to pay the hitchhiker for a photograph, he attacks Franklin and smears a bloody symbol on the side of the van as he is ejected. So yeah, some very interesting character. You get a weird vibe from him from the start, and you're like, and at first when you're watching, you're like, well, okay, he's just kind of like a side character. Just kind of being weird. I guess this is a weird area they're in Texas here, so I don't know. Low on gas, the van stops at a station whose proprietor says that no fuel is available, and we find out that this guy later on is a part of the stunts. And no wonder they're pretty much trying to sabotage their trip by saying there's no gas. They probably have gas. It's just fuck these kids, I guess. I don't know. The group explore a nearby abandoned house owned by the Hardesty family. This is like one of their old estates, apparently. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. So Kirk and Pam leave the others behind, planning to go swimming, because Franklin, who is a part of the Hardesty family, says there's like a little swimming hole nearby. They go down there, yada, yada, yada. They discover another nearby house running gas-powered generators, which is super interesting. I guess sometimes in the countryside, some people do that. I don't know. Hoping to barter for gas, Kirk enters the house. A large man wearing a mask made of skin attacks Kirk with a hammer, killing him. And at this point in the film, this is like the first time we're introduced to Leatherface. So, yeah, obviously the legend that's going to be carrying a franchise for, damn near 50 years? Close to that. When Pam enters the house, she finds this living room strewn with human and animal bones. These people are like obsessed with killing, apparently. The man grabs her, impales her with a metal hook, and starts up a gas-powered chainsaw to dismember Kirk's body as Pam watches. Yeah, pretty brutal there. In the evening, Jerry searches for Pam and Kirk. When he enters the other house, he finds Pam nearly dead, spasming body in a chest freezer. The masked man kills Jerry with a hammer. And I'm not gonna lie, these characters got killed off pretty quickly. And I was surprised. There was a pretty big sequence with the final girl at the end. I don't know, for the length of the movie, I don't know if you usually get that. She got damn near half an hour of the movie to herself with Leatherface and his family, who we're gonna meet later, don't worry. At night, Sally and Franklin start towards the other house. The masked man ambushes them, killing Franklin with the chainsaw. Yeah. So yeah, at this point, I mean, it's just Sally, which is crazy. Obviously, Franklin can't get away because he's stuck in a wheelchair. The man chases Sally into the house, where she finds a very old, seemingly dead man and a woman's rotting corpse. Fucking disgusting, man. And these people find out, and the kids find out who these people are, like, right before it's too late, I guess. The masked man chases Sally back to the gas station and vanishes. The station's proprietor comforts Sally for a moment, after which he beats and subdues her, loading her into his pickup truck. This was a super surprising part of the film, because no one really expected this Leatherface. I'm sure when this movie first came out, I mean, this was quite the twist. Like, all these characters connected in a way, and it was right in front of our faces. I think Toby Hopper did a good job at kind of hinting at it, but not, like, obviously saying. I don't think it was super predictable to me. The proprietor drives to the other house, and the hitchhiker appears. The proprietor scolds him for his actions at the cemetery, identifying the hitchhiker as the grave robber. So that's another slight twist. I mean, this family has a history of dealing with bodies and stuff. As they enter the house, the masked man reappears, dressed in woman's clothing. It's strange. This is a very strange movie. At this point, it's like, well, okay. I don't know. The proprietor identifies the masked man and the hitchhiker as brothers, and the hitchhiker refers to the masked man as Leatherface. That's the first time we learn of his name. Now, obviously, I've watched a couple of the other Texas Chainsaw Murder or Massacre movies. I just never got to the original, so I knew who Leatherface was. But this isn't unfamiliar. The two brothers bring the old man, Grandpa, down the stairs and cut Sally's fingers so that Grandpa can suck her blood. And Sally faints. She's like panicked. She has no escape. She's pretty much accepting her fate. So the next morning, Sally regains consciousness. The men taunt her and bicker with each other, resolving to kill her with a hammer, like the slaughterhouse does. And hey, at the beginning, the hitchhiker's like, well, the hammer is the best way, They try to include Grandpa in the activity, but Grandpa's grip is weak and he drops the hammer repeatedly. I mean, this guy's pretty much on his deathbed. This guy's weak as hell. He can't hardly move. He has to sit in the chair the whole time. Sally breaks free and runs onto a road in front of the house, pursued by the brothers. This is a pretty iconic scene. An oncoming truck accidentally runs over the hitchhiker, killing him, so he's dead. So now Sally's pretty much just running from Leatherface, and Grandpa and their old man is just kind of chilling in the house, waiting for them to come back with her, I guess. The truck driver attacks Leatherface with a large wrench, injuring him, and escapes on foot. So just this random civilian's kind of being a hero. Sally, covered in blood, flags down, because they actually hit her one time with a hammer, but it didn't kill her. She's covered in blood. She flags down a passing pickup truck and climbs onto the bed, narrowly escaping Leatherface. Obviously some plot convenience. As the pickup drives away, Sally laughs giddily. Leatherface flails his chainsaw in frustration as the sun rises, and that's exactly where the film ends. So yeah, I know, kind of short and concise. It's only an hour 23, probably one of the shorter movies we've watched on the channel, but let's get into my review. So getting into my review / kind of what the critics say. I mean, this is a mad movie. I mean, it's despicable. Hinkle and Hooper are more concerned with creating a realistic atmosphere than with its plastic script. I mean, this does scream 70s, 80s slasher films. I think the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was one of the originals, though, so you gotta give it credit for that. It was as violent and gruesome and blood-soaked as the title promises. I mean, its acting and technical execution was pretty good. The lead performance of Burns was great. Marilyn Burns as Sally deserves a special Academy Award for one of the most sustained and believable acting achievements in movie history. I don't know if she won awards for that, but she did pretty good here. It's one of the most important horror films since Night of the Living Dead at the time. It's well made. It's a great picture. There's heavy doses of gore, and I guess the gore porn phenomenon can take over. I mean, the house featured in the film made the Bates Motel look positively pleasant by comparison. I mean, the set design was insane there. Its sadistic violence was extreme, kind of unimaginative, though. Horror and exploitation films almost always turn a profit if they're brought in at the right place. or right price. So they provide a good starting place for ambitious would-be filmmakers who can't get more conventional projects off the ground. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre belongs in a select company, with Night of the Living Dead and Last House on the Left, of films that are really a lot better than the genre requires. Not, however, that you necessarily enjoy seeing it. It's not really a pleasant film. It's kind of gruesome, but yeah. I mean, the film's aesthetic quality, its power was pretty great. I mean, it managed to be horrifying without being a bloodbath. You'll see more gore in a Steven Seagal film. I mean, this isn't really as gory as a lot of horror films, but at the time, people were like, "Oh, it's just gore." That's what they're relying on, you know. It's a backwoods experience of fear and loathing. It was intelligent in its bloodless depiction of violence. The fact that it was banned in the United Kingdom was a tribute to its artistry, honestly. You know, the quiet sense of foreboding at the beginning of the film grows until the viewer experiences a punishing assault on the senses. Sorry. You know, its effective use of daylight shots, unusual among horror films, really. The sight of a corpse draped over a tombstone in the opening sequence was some great cinematography. I mean, the film's subtle touches. Radio broadcasts heard in the background describing grisly murders around Texas. What made it so dreadful was that it never strayed too far from potential reality. A lot of people said it's one of the scariest films of all time. Now, it probably hasn't aged well, but I could see why it was creepy for the time. It is pretty scary for its time. I mean, it's the most purely horrifying horror movies ever made, never less than totally committed to scaring you witless. There are some jump scares. Obviously, the editing isn't great. This is a super outdated movie. I mean, that's just kind of the reality of things. But yeah, I don't really have much to say. I don't want to keep reading these critic reviews because people are praising it a little too much. I don't think it's a great movie, but obviously for the time, it is pretty damn good. I mean, this movie came out damn near 50 years ago, so yeah. I mean, for its time, it's a fantastic movie, I think. I mean, the story, the inspiration behind it, very fascinating stuff, and yeah, it's very interesting. I'm sure it was pretty revolutionary for the horror genre, and it's a super important one. This is one that a lot of people should have crossed off on their horror bucket list. I can't believe I waited till now to review this for you guys, but yeah, we're going to be reviewing The Witch, the 2015 movie, tomorrow, so yeah, we're just going down the scratch, and I already watched Get Out, so we're skipping that, we're skipping Saw, all that, so peace.